Yeah, there will be some adult language, uh, violent scenes, and yeah, this is not audio and stuff is not made for children. So if you are a child and you want to hear a D&D story, you might want to go somewhere else. So, here's the problem. When I recorded this last time, I ended up going off on a tangent of something I wasn't supposed to be talking about just yet. So here's the edit in version where I'm pretty much going to make episode 4, 3, I don't know. Yeah, all right. Here we go, guys. So after we had left um, the town of fuck, I don't remember if it was Mental Dareth or some other place, but you just look back on the video. I don't care right now. The point is, we ended up trying to travel toward the Kuatoa town village of Slopdudup down in the Dark Lake. On our journey there, we ended up going through a few paths and narrow, crevices and whatnot. This is where we, the team, ended up going into some kind of ancient forgotten tomb, like a temple that we ended up discovering on our journey there. So we each pretty much, at the time, I think almost all of us were there, and we all pretty much just gradually went through this temple one by one, kind of going through. I believe it's called the Ooze Temple in the encounter booklet for Out of the Abyss. Except so this, my friends, is where we technically start to really go off the rails. So in this encounter of us going through this dungeon and this crazy temple, as far as I'm concerned, this is basically a grand temple to Jubilex or Juiblix, the demon lord of oozes, the great hungering, always just goopy, super goop man. And so our DM had kind of read into a lot of lore about oozes and always kind of found them really fascinating and interesting, especially after the that great hit anime of That Time I Became a Slime. So, with that being said, one of the things that kind of marks the arrival of Jubilex is when I guess when oozes in general, any ooze that has been recently created or I suppose is existing close enough to Jubilex begins to gain sentience. And, that sentience will eventually become, I guess, sapience in that regard. And what that particularly means is that the oozes will eventually begin to think and speak for themselves and have somewhat independence. And I mean somewhat because they'll have like rudimentary intelligence. And this is more so a callback to what happened at like the first, session or so when we jumped down into the waterfall and we ended up hearing some weird stuff in the water below. Yeah, that's because when something like that happens, it means that Jubilex is close by. And that's a very, very big red flag for, I guess, anybody who knows a thing or two about the demon lords that are in Out of the Abyss or whatever have you. Because that means that Jubilex is on the material plane. And if any demon lord is on the material plane, that's pretty much an end of the world apocalypse scenario. Some oh no, SCP, whatever it is, it's apocalypse, end of the world. Okay, anyway, sorry. But basically what this means is that our characters don't really know much about that to begin with. So like me as a player was more like, I don't know, man. Now that being said, you can guess what happens. We come across a large globulous amorphous creature, a black pudding, if you will. Now, I want you to understand that I am about to introduce you to perhaps one of the most, if not the most important NPC character of not just the Reptile Mafia, but a real MVP and the important character that has incidentally become the orchestrator of a grand expansive lore that our DM has created that has branched between multiple campaigns from some even touching my own in fact, because it's just such a grand far-reaching thing. This creature, this being of great power, of destiny, his name, Squishy. Yep, this guy right here, Squishy. So we discover this creature, this ooze, this being, and a lot of us were just kind of confused and not sure. Like, I think we were in the middle of a small scrap when this thing came around, but I think it was a combination of my character Matoru and Zakira, who started to piece some things together as realizing, oh wait, this thing isn't a regular ooze. It's kind of, well, alive in that regard. Meaning that he probably has no idea what's going on any more than we do. And if he's as, brand new to the world as I think he might be as a player, this thing's pretty much just a baby, a kid, if you will, who doesn't really know or understand anything. So, moral dilemma being presented. It took a bit of arguing amongst ourselves. I think Venarian was one of the first ones to be like, no, we gotta get rid of this thing. Ned is always just ready for a fight. Zakira was less inclined. She kind of likes this thing. She thinks it's kind of cool, and she just had the brilliant idea of like, I must nurture this thing. And Matoru was just like, okay, it's fine. We'll keep it. Fine, we keep the thing. Just you handle it. And Zakira's just like, okay, I keep it. And we decided to, I guess, have this thing follow us around and kind of learn and perhaps explore and understand this new world. I mean, what the hell? The world's about to end anyway. Might as well just, give this black pudding, a chance at learning things in the world, I suppose. However, after coming across the black pudding known as Squishy, as we have decided to give the name of, we ended up falling for either really bad temple, architectural design, or it was just a trap. I'm not sure which, but the floor collapses in on itself, and we all plummet down deep in a dark hole that started to fill up with water. A lot of water. Now, everybody starts to kind of freak out a bit. Matoru was fine. I mean, he's just like, well, at least I have, unlike the rest of you guys, I could probably, sit here for another hour when this thing fills up, and I'll probably still be fine. But regardless of what's happened, thing like some crazy earthquake or seismic activity starts to crack open the floor even more. And bada boom, we end up falling and plummeting right into a great lake. The dark lake is before us. So ourselves, the party, whatever, prisoner adventurers, whatever that we had, NPCs, and one goopy Squishy was with us in this bizarre turn of events. We plummet down into the water with the help of, I guess, Matoru Venarian, who's, I guess, a pretty decent swimmer, still, even as a dragonborn. And I don't know if Zakira turned into an animal. I think she might have turned into a crocodile or just something to help people swim, I guess, get across and finally get onto at least some kind of a shoreline. Not to mention we still had our Kotoa buddy, who was a bit more excited because this means we were about to get to his home village of Slapdiboop a lot quicker. And a lot quicker it did, because we finally came across the shore, and we all kind of just started to group up with each other. I think somebody was a bit disappointed that Squishy made it and followed us across the shore, and Zakira was just happy that, yay, it voluntarily came with us, even if we fell into this horrible pit of possible doom. But Toro's just like, I don't care. We end up being met up by a oncoming group of these Kuo-toa, and our Kuo-toa NPC ally decided to go over and talk to them for a bit.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Billy. That hurt.
And luckily enough, yes, these were his people, his tribesmen, that he pretty much ended up vouching for us, saying that no, we're fine, we're cool. There's no need to get crazy fishman, you know, Lovecraftian vibes up in here. These guys helped us. They helped me save my life, and they deserve to be here. And I promised them that I would help them a bit. And after a bit of negotiation, they agree, and we were thankfully brought into the Kuo-toa village of Schloptitub. Now, this is technically where that session ends. However, I'm going to jump into a bit into the next session because, well, it just makes for good storytelling, and it's just help lengthen the video and make you guys more interested in what the hell happens afterwards. Now, to give you guys some backstory and I guess a bit of context, I, as a individual of, I don't know, creativeness and like reading and literature and kind of fantasies and whatnot, I tend to pick up pretty well on the story beats of, well, any kind of given story. And seeing this, I remembered way back that oh Mike, oh no. Right. Any given beat fuck. Let me start over. Here's the thing. Way back, I don't remember. I don't think I actually put this in any of the videos, but basically, I remember at one point. Oh wait, no, yeah, it was actually after they saved us that the shamans and elders of this Kuo-toa village or whatever, wanted to make sure that we were kind of good, or at least kind of, to allow us to have safety in their home village. We had to partake in a ritual. Yes, a ritual that we would partake in. No. We weren't the sacrifices. We were just, kind of hold up candles, say a few words, kind of thing. Little stuff like that. Because the Kuo-toa were about to perform this ritual to summon some kind of god of theirs that is part of their culture. If you know anything about Kuo-toa and their bizarre lore, this could be either really neat or really bad. However, as a person who knows how to read between the lines in certain situations, and as I said about story beats, I was like 95% sure that we're going to partake in this ritual, and not only is their god not going to show up, instead we're going to somehow end up more or less calling on, well, I guess not necessarily calling on Demogorgon, but basically Demogorgon's going to be the one to answer the call instead, and he just comes out of the water. Whether or not this actually summons him out to the material plane is, not for me to decide, but I'm pretty sure that's, I think this is supposed to be like the highlight of, well, a highlight of the campaign, because, well, it's on the front cover of the frickin' book, isn't it? Now, given that context, I was